Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you from the great state of Florida. One hell of a drug. And I do want to welcome you to the channel wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to ask the question, is the bottom in? That is the question on everybody's lips, and we're going to look at the charts. Before we do that, of course, smash the like button. This does help get this channel out to more people, as does your wonderful comments. Thank you so much. And those of you who have questions, you can actually get more immediate engagement interaction with me in the Discords. The links are below for the Discords there. The Tribal Trades Discord, which is currently closed. We will be opening that up again at some point. You can get on the wait list there, but Stocks with Josh Discord is currently open, and I have a Crown Traders channel in there where I share education, insights, some resources on my trade setups, and of course entertainment, because this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? How could you not be entertained by this crypto market? Oh, and find all that in the description of this video. You just want to click on the more button and that will pop out, and there are a bunch of links there to getting started in the Discord. Love to see you in there. Okay, so let's talk about fighting back to get above the resistance. It feels like the force is strong with this one because there is the resistance, and we have flipped that for the moment, but we will have a look at that on the charts in a moment. But that was something we flipped overnight. And then, of course, the CME got filled, so that's always a relief. There is one to the upside, remember, up to about, I think, 85, 86K there that will get filled at some point, by the way. And, of course, we do have had these kind of corrections are part of the cycle. And this bull run alone, Bitcoin has already dropped 22%, 22%, 21%, 32%, and 21.8% thus far. And just remember, the correction in April of 2021 was worse. Bitcoin dropped 55%. Let's go to the Bitcoin price there. And if you were in the Discords, you were making money on the way down, because I gave the short trade down, all the way down to the 50 EMA on the weekly. I've been sharing this 50 EMA on the weekly every day, it seems like, since we lost this 90K level. And what did I say to you would happen if we lost this 90K level? I also said to you that felt a lot like April, May of 2021, and the possibility of coming down to test either the 50 EMA on the weekly, the 50 weekly moving average, or obviously both. Now, we didn't come down yet to test the 50-week moving average, and maybe we won't. In the April-May drop, we did come down and test that, and of course, we did hit the 50 EMA on the weekly there. Maybe we won't go that low this time because everybody was expecting it. But remember, what's my bear market scenario? A candle, a weekly candle that completely opens and closes below. So let's go to the weekly time frame, what that might look like. And what that's going to look like is like we saw on the 50-day moving average, this blue line up here, a full candle. See that big purple candle, a complete open, the whole body of the candle is below. That has typically signaled the end of the bull market in the last two bull markets. I bought some more Bitcoin yesterday at the 50 EMA on the weekly. I'll buy some more down here, and if we get down to 73, because of course that could mean that we could get a wick down to the 73, 72K area, even down to 69, as long as we don't have a weekly candle open and close below the 50-week moving average. That is there. That's what's happened in the past. Okay, so what's happening now with Bitcoin? So again, if you were in the Discord, you were printing money in the short, going short in this market. And listen, you do not have to be a day trader and watch your computer screen at every second or your phone to learn how to go short and how to go long and how to make money when the market is going down. I do live classes in the Discord where you can learn how to do this safely with leverage to the downside. You can even go 1x leverage, so it's like a spot buy to the downside. And yes, of course, you use stop losses, okay? But that is something that you can learn how to do. That way, from the middle of January, when this drop started, you could have made money to the downside, okay? Around the 20th of January, all the way down, you could have been making money to the downside. So you now are most people's fear can become your greed as you make money to the downside. And of course, you make money to the upside. A nice long from here, you could have bought some and rode that to the top. Now, what are we looking for now? We're looking at the 200-day moving average. That's our new line in the sand to the upside, okay? And this is what we need to get back above. And then we've got the 200 EMA on the daily. Now, remember, in a bull run, it doesn't usually go far. This has generally been a good time, these areas, to buy in a bull run when there is major corrections, obviously down here. So, of course, we are still in a downtrend. Look on the daily. We have lower lows and lower highs, okay? So we are in a downtrend. We still have to trade the trend. If we go to the 4-hour time frame, this is where the candle that we need to get above here. And that candle is at 84,123. That would create a higher low. And this is corresponds to right where the 200-day moving average. If we can, because look, we still have a lower low on and a lower high. We are still in a downtrend, and that's also where the 20 EMA on the 4-hour time frame is around that level. We must get above that. So no point getting excited, no point like, woo, the bottom is in. The bottom may be in. It might be, but it might not be. And we do have to create. Now, if we can create a higher high, let me tell you where the entry can be here. If we can create a higher high, a higher high here, and then come back and create a higher low, that's your entry. Okay, that's your entry right there. So up we go. First of all, we create a higher high, and we might get stopped around here or here. That would be ideal to retest here on the 4-hour and then come back, and that would be, now that doesn't necessarily mean that the bottom is in or not, but that does give you some hope that on the 4-hour time frame that there would be a higher high and a higher low, and then you get in the trade there. Now, if we were to get back up to and reject and not get above and make another higher high, that's when you could get out of the trade, but you would get out and profit, of course. Now, on the daily time frame, what are we looking for a higher, we got to get above the 100 EMA on the daily there, which has come down a little bit by the looks of it. Yeah, it has. So let's readjust that. But we need to actually get above 92,800 to create, at the moment today, 92,800 to create a high. So we wouldn't really be getting too excited even if we got it on the 4-hour time frame. That just may give us some short-term trades, but we really need to get above 92,800 to create a higher high on the daily time frame. So that's what we're looking for there. And you can see that, and maybe at first we'll come up and create a higher low, and that would be a succession of higher lows, but we do need to create a new trend. Let's look on the hour time frame, because this is getting interesting here, that you can trade it on the hour time frame. And this is a trade that I just gave in the Discord, so you might be able to take this trade if it's still valid by the time this video goes live. But the 50 EMA on the hourly time frame, if Bitcoin was to break above that and hold, then this could be a nice trade up to the 200-day moving average there. Or if it was to break down below that, you could ride that back down to this 79,800 level, or possibly all the way down. So we are teetering right now. Of course, on the hourly time frame, we have a lower low. And I want to teach you about the trend, because some of you aren't been trading the trend, and you have to trade the trend. And this is why I've been doing these classes in the Discord on how to make money on the way down. You could have made all this money on the way down. Sharing trades daily in the Discord. We even have a whole section in the Tribal Traders Discord, a channel called Leverage Lounge, where people are learning and growing and getting better and getting support and sharing trades in there and going short and long and making money, mostly short because the trend is down. So let's have a look at this here. So what do we need to, on the daily time frame, we've got it on the hour time frame, we've got to get above that same level as the 4-hour to create a higher high. We haven't even created a higher low yet. So we haven't got a higher high. We haven't got a higher low on the daily, the 4 hour, on the hour. Let's see if we can find something that we have. And we do finally, on the 15-minute time frame, we have a higher high. We have a higher high, but we don't have a higher low yet. We've got the low. There's the lower low. We have the higher high because there was the high there. And so we'd want to come down. And as long as we don't go below there, we can create on the 15 minutes. So this is tradable on the 15-minute time frame. You can be going long or short, depending on whether it breaks down from here or not. If it keeps on pushing up here, I wouldn't mind if we came back and create a little bit of a higher low and then pushed up and made a higher high. Obviously, this is the area that we do want to break here. This is the key line in the sand, and that then creates double, because then we have a higher high on the hour and a higher high on the 4 hour. We know there's a big jump up needed to 92 to get that higher high on the daily, but that would at least give confidence to start entering some trades and making some trades. Now, does that mean I'm buying for a longer term hold? No. What I'm looking at doing is, let's kind of play this out. What I would be doing is if this was to come up and create a higher high, and then we get in there on the higher low, then I can trade this up to wherever we find some kind of resistance, whether it comes back up to here, becomes resistance, or here to the upside, rinse and repeat. So you're getting in and out of trades. Now, these trades can take a number of days to play out. You don't have to be a full-time trader to make these trades. In fact, the trade that I gave the other day in the Discord took about a full day to play out. As you can see, all the way to the downside there. That was a trade that I gave in the Discord that took a full day to play out, or you could have gotten out on the way down and opened a new one and then kept going. So I want you to be encouraged that you can learn how to do this. You can trade on any time frame. If you're more of a scalper, in and out trades, probably the 5-minute and 15-minute time frames. If you're more of one that would like to see a play trade out for like a day, probably the hour time frame, maybe a day or 2 or 3, maybe the 4-hour time frame, you can trade off that. And then if you go to the daily time frame, usually that's a day or a number of days, or sometimes a week. It depends how quickly things capitulate there, okay? So you can see how that plays out. But you could have opened a short here and rode this. Would have taken 1, 2, 3 days before you might have closed that trade, for example, at the 200 EMA on the daily. So even if you're a full-time worker, you can learn how to do this. You can learn the system. I teach all of this in the Discord, how you become a great trader in any market, in any season, whether it's going sideways, whether it's going up, and whether it's going down. So apart from Bitcoin, am I looking to really jump in heavy on any kind of other plays? No. What do we want to see? I've shown you on the 4-hour what I'm looking for. I've shown you on the hour what I'm looking for. And of course, on the weekly and the daily time frame, if we were to capitulate from here, I've showed you what I would consider to be a bear market scenario. Right now, we are not in a bear market. We are just copying what the market did in April of 2021 and May of 2021. Let's quickly look at Follow the Yellow Brick Road. Follow the Yellow Brick Road. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. And as you can see here, there is still some billions and billions of dollars at that $73,000, $74,000 level. It does taper off after that, and then there's a lot more again down at that $64,000 level. And so that's what I would say. Look, obviously, people are scared about it continuing to go down to that level. But this is the level we need to be watching at the moment. That's our line in the sand, 75 there. There's billions and billions of dollars around 75, 74, 73. As again, if I was the market maker, I'd come down and get that and then shoot off. So there is some more danger still to the downside. Of course, when you go to the other time frames, the liquidity is to the upside. So we could get a little bit of a short-term relief up to, the $84,000 level, for example. Maybe a little bit of a fake out to the upside before a final flush out. And you can see there is a lot of liquidity up there at 86 and 91,000. There is just continues to grow there. And obviously look at that at 84,000 and 85,000. So at some point, I do think this is going to come and get got, but we may, are we heading up there, or do we come down and flush out those 74, 75? Let me know what your thoughts are. Are we going to get stopped at the 200-day moving average, which is at around 83, and then flush back down and get that 73, 74, 75 level? Or are we going to push right up to this 85,000? That might happen. We might push through the 200-day moving average, have a fake out, everybody open, and then we have that flush down to the downside there. Or ours is the bottom in? Do you think the bottom is in, and now we just keep moving up and we leave that liquidity behind for the bear market when that comes? I want to know your thoughts in the comments. And of course, until the next episode, or until I see you in the Discord, happy trading.